All right, diving right in today, we're taking a closer look at this company, CareerTracker, and their whole approach to professional development. I've got their proposal right here and even spent some time on their website. And gotta say, the thing that really caught my eye is this idea of like really weaving growth into your workflow, not just, an afterthought.
Yeah, and you know what's really interesting about career trackers? They've really zeroed in on something that I think a lot of us, struggle with in the workplace. It's that feeling of being like completely swamped with everyday tasks, Makes it tough to actually like carve out the time and mental space for growth, right? And they seem to get that their target audience, these office workers, especially those with, those higher ed degrees, we're a busy bunch.
Totally. I mean, it's like they're speaking directly to us, right? So how does Career Tracker actually help people regain that, regain that focus, I guess? Make professional development feel less like just another thing piled on our plates?
Yeah, that's a good question. So instead of like adding more to your to-do list, Career Tracker, they kind of flip the script. They've got this whole thing about integrating growth into your existing workflow. So it's not this extra thing you got to do. It's about making the most of what you're already doing. And they actually achieve this through these core principles, what they call, they have like a catchy little name for it, the R3.
Okay, R3, I'm listening.
Yeah, so it's Rust, Regelmet, and Resultat.
Okay, break that down. What do those even mean?
All right, so Rust, that translates to like tranquility. It's about finding that mental space for growth, even in the middle of a crazy day.
Yeah, easier said than done sometimes, right?
For sure. But Career Tracker really stresses the importance of like actually scheduling it in, minimizing distractions, allowing yourself to actually breathe and focus on like you developing your skills, not just meeting those deadlines.
It's about finding that rust in the chaos. Do you think that's something they've actually managed to make, achievable?
Well, that's where Regelmat comes in. It means regularity. So it's about like building a rhythm for growth, making it a habit, embedding these like regular activities into your routine. So it's not something you're doing, once in a blue moon.
Yeah, that consistency, right? It's not just a one-time workshop. It's about actually building a system.
Exactly. And that consistent effort is what ultimately leads to result
Yeah.
sight. It all ties together, right? You get that focus, you're doing it regularly, and boom, you're gaining new skills, you're more efficient, you actually feel like you're accomplishing something.
Okay, so that's the why behind their approach. But what about the how? They mentioned a 5-step method. Where do you even start with that?
Well, it all begins with seems simple but really important first step, a workshop with the management team.
A management workshop. Okay, so getting everyone on the same page from the start. What all goes on in that first session?
Right, setting the stage. It's about figuring out the organization's big picture goals for, everyone's professional development, making sure everybody's clear on what they're supposed to be doing, what's expected of them, that kind of thing.
So, alignment is key right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Where does Career Tracker go from there?
Well, step 2 zooms in on the team manager. They get their own one-on-one session.
Okay.
This is where they really dig into the nitty-gritty, like how to give feedback that actually helps people grow.
Interesting.
How to, shift from being the evaluator to more of a facilitator, which is a big part of their whole thing.
Yeah, that shift to facilitator is really interesting. What does that actually look like day to day?
It's less about, just judging performance, more about guiding and supporting your team's development, giving them the tools and, strategies they need to improve, overcome obstacles, all that.
It's like they're changing the whole dynamic between managers and employees, at least when it comes to professional development. Okay, so we've got the groundwork laid, then what?
All right, so step 3 is where the team members come in. They have a workshop too, but it's more in depth.
Makes sense.
They work together to set team goals, and this is important. They actually schedule those individual growth sessions we were talking about earlier.
Right, those weekly sessions, the heart of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do those start right away, or is there, more prep work first?
Well, Career Tracker knows we all get busy, right?
Yeah.
Even with the best intentions, things fall through the cracks.
Oh, yeah.
That's where step 4 comes in, check-ins.
Okay.
They build in these reflection moments after a couple of weeks, then again after 4 weeks, just to make sure everyone's on track, address any bumps in the road.
Keeping the momentum going?
Yeah.
I like it. So what about that last week?
The grand finale.
Yeah.
Step 5 is all about wrapping things up. They analyze the results, celebrate what went well, figure out what could be improved.
Sounds like a good mix of, celebration and reflection. It's only a 6-week program, but it sounds pretty comprehensive with the workshops, the individual sessions, the manager check-ins.
That's the thing, right? They get that lasting change doesn't happen overnight. By packing all that into a shorter time frame, they're creating a really powerful framework.
Okay, so 5 steps, we've got that. We understand the why, the how, but I'm curious about those individual growth sessions. What actually happens in those? How does CareerTracker make sure they're actually useful and, tailored to each person?
Well, that's where the personalized development plans come in.
This is what makes it feel like way more than some generic workshop series. Tell me more about these plans.
So each employee sits down with CareerTracker and creates a plan that aligns with, what they want to achieve and the skills they need for their role.
Okay.
That plan then becomes their roadmap for those weekly 30-minute growth sessions. So, it's focused, productive time actually dedicated to their development.
It's not just like go improve, it's here's how. These check-ins probably help keep things on track too, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. And to make those check-ins even better, they've got this awesomely simple system. Color-coded reflection.
Color-coded. I have to hear about this.
It's so simple, but it works. Green means you're good to go. You're making progress. No need to change anything right now. Orange means you're moving along, but maybe some things need a little more attention.
Okay.
And then there's red. Red means your priorities might have shifted, and it's time to reevaluate, take action.
Like a stoplight for your professional development. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about individual accountability, is it? We talked about the manager's role earlier. How does that all fit into this system?
Right, that whole facilitator thing.
Yeah.
This system gives managers a really structured way to offer support, guidance, and, help their team get over those hurdles we all face.
Because having that support system can make all the difference. It's one thing to have a plan, but it's another to actually have someone in your corner, helping you stick to it.
I'm with you on that. It opens up communication so that if there are challenges, you're addressing them head on.
This all sounds really promising, but at the end of the day, it's got to deliver. Does it? What kind of impact does CareerTracker say this method has? They've got the method, the structure, the support, but do they have the results? What kind of impact are we talking about here?
So they highlight a bunch of benefits, but one that really jumps out is they say it actually helps people procrastinate less.
Interesting.
Which makes sense, right? Because it breaks down professional development into these manageable steps and integrates it into what you're already doing.
It's less daunting that way.
Exactly.
Did any of the testimonials mention that, like actually feeling less overwhelmed, more organized about it all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of them talked about how CareerTracker brought more structure and focus to their efforts to grow professionally. AppCert, for example, they were all about the platform, how user-friendly it was. And they really liked that they could actually track their progress, see the data.
That visual reminder can be so helpful. What about, actual skills and knowledge? Did any clients speak to that?
Yeah, Elmar Services, they're the tech company we mentioned earlier. They're super happy about that. They're saying how CareerTracker helped their employees keep up in such a fast-paced industry,
Stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn new things.
Especially with technology changing so quickly these days.
It's not even just about a specific skill, right? It's more about just being open to growth and change.
Totally.
And Dargan and Zaitzi coaches, the ones who use CareerTracker with all their clients,
yeah,
they were saying they saw a difference in how teams work together.
Oh, interesting.
Like having those shared goals, that structure, it created a more collaborative, supportive environment.
I love that. It's not just about individual people, it's about the whole team growing together.
Exactly.
Which reminds me of that quote from Didacticum, something about how CareerTracker makes sure that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but everyone's in the driver's seat of their own career.
I like that.
It's about empowering people, giving them control, but also making sure everyone's moving in the same direction.
This has been a really great deep dive. We really went beyond just the basics of CareerTracker. We dug into their philosophy, their method, and of course, the impact they're having.
It's been fun to break it all down. It's a really interesting approach to, something that I think a lot of us struggle with.
So as we wrap up here, I'm going to leave you with a little something to think about. What if you could identify that one tiny change, one small step you could take today to make your own professional journey a little more intentional, a little more structured? It doesn't have to be a complete overhaul, just a little nudge in the right direction.